All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome. Good evening. Get ready for a little double dip on Monday Night Football. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay at 7:15 Eastern. Rams at Bengals at 8:15 Eastern. I'm Adam Azer with Heath Cummings. We're expecting Tara Roberts pretty soon here. Do you think she'll be wearing red?
Oh, we can only hope.
Yeah. Why not?
Be super awkward if she's not.
Right, yeah. Somebody should text her. How do you feel about the two Monday Night Football games? This is the last week, as far as I know, but how do you feel about it?
I don't like it. I like it better than when they did that one thing where they were starting one of them at 6 and one of them at 9.
Yeah.
And there was football until 1 a.m. That was no good.
I don't know why I don't like it, though. Why don't you like it? Because I don't like it either, but I can't quite figure out why.
I like the island game.
Mm.
I like just turning one game on and watching one game. And we only get a couple of those a week, or a few, I guess, 3. So
there is a hidden benefit, though. And that is, if you've got the Joe Burrow decision, you've got some extra potential outs, right? If you want to wait till Monday night. So let's talk about that Joe Burrow decision. He is expected to play. Again, they have the late game, but would you start Matthew Stafford or Baker Mayfield over Joe Burrow?
No, I don't have a lot of interest in Stafford or Mayfield. I think they all have a very low floor, so you might as well shoot for the upside. I'm facing Burrow in like 3 different leagues where people chose to wait it out for Joe Burrow. And I've got like a 20-point lead. So if he has a big night tonight, it's going to be a bad night for me. But I would not, now that, it sounds like he's going to play.
I think I'm going to take the under on 20.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to hope you're right, which doesn't happen often.
Higgins or Puka? That was unintentional. Higgins or Puka? I've already called Dan Schneier that. So, but Higgins or Puka Nacua?
T. Higgins for me.
Okay. And any questions that y'all have, waiver wire, starter sit, whatever it is, fire away. Let's see. We need a flex for tonight's game. Mixon, Swift, Chase, and Chris Godwin.
I would go Chase.
Chase, okay. She is not wearing red. She's wearing orange. She's very close.
That kind of clashes, Tara.
That's all right. How you doing, Tara? How you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm doing good. Aside from internet issues off and on, fantastic.
Great. Good to see you here. What's your answer to this question?
How flex for tonight games. I would still go with Chase, given that we've got Burrow and feeling like this is going to be a game where we've got the big T. Higgins game. Now we need to feed Chase directly. So I'm still going with Chase. I know we've been underwhelmed, but I'm still sticking to it.
Ando, who is in your starting lineup if these are your flex choices, right? Unbelievable. Should I try to trade Austin Eckler and Josh Kelly? What do you think? Would you give up the Chargers backfield?
Yeah. Well, it depends on where you're at. I don't feel real optimistic about Eckler playing this week. And then he has, I believe, a bye the week after that, which is why I don't really think he's going to play this week. And so if you're under 500, I understand not wanting to start Josh Kelly this week. So I could understand it.
All right. I want to ask you guys about the Chargers here real quick. I'll ask a couple more questions for Godwin or Puka.
Puka.
Let's see. I think that's about it. Oh, look at this. When sports it becomes charity. Thank you very much, Matthew. And you're very welcome for Miami beating Indiana. It was my pleasure. Hit that like button, everybody. And let me ask you about the waiver wire here, because just saw something Brandon Staley saying everyone's going to have to elevate their game without Mike Williams, and Quentin Johnston will have an increased role. Tara, are you picking up Quentin Johnston or Josh Palmer? If you could only pick up one.
I prefer Palmer, oddly enough. And it's funny because Quentin Johnston is the more rostered guy. So it's easier for you to swoop in and get Palmer. But he's been operating as, the wide receiver 3 above Johnston. And I have his upside as the season goes on and he gets more acclimated to the NFL. It can get there. But I just think that Palmer is the better proven asset right now. So that's who I would prefer to go with.
Yeah. How about you, Heath?
If I need to start, like if I'm desperate for a starter, I would go with Palmer. I think he'll be a better starter for the next couple of weeks. If I'm just adding somebody to put them on my bench, I'd rather have Johnston.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the Dolphins situation here. We're talking on Beyond the Box Score today. Would you rather have Josh Jacobs or a Dolphins running back?
Josh Jacobs.
I am with Heath. I am on we will have the Josh Jacobs rebound and the better tracking season coming. It's coming. Just gotta
I'm trying to think if I would rather have Josh Jacobs or both the Dolphins running backs. I think I'd take both the Dolphins running backs.
What about Ramondre Stevenson or a Dolphins running back?
I would rather have a Dolphins running back, honestly.
Either.
Okay. Why is Jacobs then an easier call than Ramondre Stevenson for you guys? Why is he clearly ahead of Ramondre Stevenson?
For me, it's the.
Go ahead.
For me, it's the lack of competition. It's not that I think that Zeke is amazing competition for Ramondre, but we know that Bill is wanting to work him in there. We know that. And Josh Jacobs on the other end is a guaranteed 3-down back. There's nobody that I can see cutting into that workload. He's got all the upside there, all handled right in that one big package. So that's the reason why it's easier for me with Jacobs.
Jacobs was basically better than Stevenson every year of their careers. I still think he's better than Stevenson.
Okay. Oh, let's see. Mike Williams out, Donald Parham up. Do you guys agree with that take?
No.
No, but I prefer him to Everett, oddly enough.
Just stop it. Just stop it with these backup tight end touchdowns. Brevin Jordan and this is nonsense. I'm tired of it.
Yeah,
Jimmy
weekend.
Graham.
Yeah. We had Brevin Jordan, we had Jimmy Graham, we had Lou Headley, the punter, pinning someone inside the 5. Was a great weekend. You like this parlay here? Eagles -5.5, Bengals -3.
I think you might.
No.
Okay.
Can I put something on here?
Yeah. What are you wrong about?
I made an offhand comment last week, I think twice, that I thought the Broncos were going to be frisky. I thought the Broncos might. I was not wrong about Tua. Come on.
I don't understand. You were very high.
Go back and check the receipts.
Where did you rank him? I mean, you didn't rank him number 1, but
I had him top 5 this week. I was the guy saying in the offseason he's going to be a top 3 quarterback if he stayed healthy for 17 games. I just made an offhand comment about the Broncos maybe beating the Dolphins. It's not like there's some invincible team that can't be beat.
No, but in retrospect, that might have been the worst call you've ever made. I mean, they gave up the 3rd most points, I think, in football history.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've made worse calls.
Would you drop Jacoby Myers for CJ Stroud or Jordan Love if I start Trevor Lawrence?
I am concerned about Trevor, but I don't want to drop Jacoby Myers.
Here's something that you guys can mark the tape on that maybe I can be really wrong on. I think this Jordan Love thing is entirely a mirage. I don't buy it at all. People are talking about him like a top 12 quarterback. I think I heard the words must start uttered in the last 24 hours. I do not believe that at all.
I don't really know. I mean, I don't think he's must start. There are not 12 must start quarterbacks. Okay. I mean, even if you finish as a top 12 guy, it doesn't mean you were must start. Right. So no, he's not a must start guy. I think if you're interested to hear what we thought about Trevor Lawrence after we all went back and watched the game, we broke it down on Beyond the Box Score. And on the first possession of the game, he threw an absolute dime to Calvin Ridley, which should have been a 30-yard touchdown, and Ridley dropped it. Later in the half, Ridley dropped another pass. Later in the half, they converted a 4th down at about the 40-yard line of Houston, and there was a penalty, and they had a punt. Later in the first half, Jamal Agnew fumbled at like the 30-yard line or something like that. They absolutely shot themselves in the foot, and Lawrence could have had a much better day. And then apparently they may have turned the play calling over to, or I shouldn't have said it like that. Doug Peterson may have already taken over the play calling in the second half when things went better. So it does give you a little bit of optimism. I don't love their schedule coming up, but no, I am not dropping Jacoby Myers. This guy's off to a great start. We need to acknowledge that. Like, this guy is a must roster player right now.
And to be clear, to answer my question from last night, the answer is apparently no.
What was your question from last night? Kid gloves? I went back and watched it and changed my mind. He played a lot better than I realized.
I hope at some point they can get him some wide receivers that can help him out. The poor guy.
Well, I mean, look, he dropped. I don't expect Ridley to drop those passes. Also, Ridley drew a pass interference in the end zone. What happened?
He's only had 2.5 years.
Tank Bigsby had a 1-yard touchdown run yesterday.
One didn't count.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, the Urban Meyer year definitely didn't count.
It didn't.
And there was a bad weather game last year, and that Texans game they didn't really care about. And
you know what? Look, Tua had a brief stretch last year where he was good. Tua stunk as a rookie. Tua got benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick as a rookie. In his second season, he was
better as a rookie than Trevor Lawrence.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, that may or may not be true. But Tua wasn't good as a rookie. He wasn't that good as a sophomore. They got him Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as a third-year guy, and he wasn't great every week, but this is how you project someone to take the next step. You have to look at small sample sizes and hope it goes to the – this is what we did with Justin Fields. That's not working either. But, look, take the time. Watch the game. I think you'll agree. He played much better than his stat line, much better. But, it just wasn't helped. All right, look, 3 people this morning felt that way.
Right.
Heath does not.
I know. I'm saying my complaint, my grievance, if you will, is that amongst the young quarterbacks who have all struggled, Trevor Lawrence, the entire community has been much more generous to him in making excuses and saying, well, this was wrong and wait until this happens. And he's just like, he was a top 5 dynasty quarterback at the beginning of this offseason. I ran a Twitter poll today. Would you rather have rest of season or in Dynasty, CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, or Tua? And of course, he was much closer to Stroud than he was to Tua. Tua got about 60% of the vote, but that's only because Tua's coming off of a big game as well.
Well, week 1 was fine. Week 2 was a disaster, but Kansas City's defense has been
really
much improved.
Mm-hmm.
So I buy that. We've got to. I lean towards your side, Adam. Not that I'm biased or anything.
Look, I'm hopeful. I said I'm worried. I went back. I had to watch it, and I came away. I'm not going to lie. If he played poorly, I would call him out for it. I just don't think he played poorly. I think he played pretty well and got screwed over by his very mistake-prone team. What are you thinking here? Down 41, I have Puka and Devontae Smith. How we feeling? I think a loss.
I think no, between 20 and 22. I see it.
40%.
Should I turn Keenan Allen into Jamar Chase?
I do.
I would do that, and I do believe that if Keenan Allen stays healthy, I do believe that this can be a top 5 season for him. But it's if you want to risk the health of a 31-year-old receiver. So that's
right, and it's two-sided because I think that's right. Like he's going to absolutely destroy for as long as he stays healthy. The question is, 4 hours later, we may feel a lot different about Jamar Chase, and it could go either direction. Joe Burrow could look like Joe Burrow tonight, or like he might play a quarter and be headed to the IR.
I should point out Keenan Allen, his last 2 games were without Austin Eckler. I know he's now without Mike Williams, but they were also against Minnesota and Tennessee. So I don't know if that matters to you guys. Maybe it matters more for Herbert, but those could end up being the 2 easiest matchups in fantasy. Anything on that? Because I was talking about that today. Like, he's one of the biggest risers, but might be, if you want to turn him into Jamar Chase, now is the time. Maybe. I just wish I felt better about Chase. Burrow, really.
I don't feel like they have a particularly tough schedule. I mean, there's more games that are going to be, there's going to be some downs, but overall, I don't think they're facing anything tremendously awful.
Would you trade Mostert for Jacobs? I think we answered that earlier, and you guys said you would trade Mostert for Jacobs.
They've still got 2 games against the Broncos left. Are you kidding me?
Nice. Half PBR, Mixon or Swift?
Mixon.
I'd go. It's definitely Mixon for floor. I think this is one where it really depends on like are you down 10 think if you need 10 PPR points, I'd much rather start Mixon. If I'm down 25, I might go Swift and just hope that they go the whole way with him.
Would you rather have Christian Watson or a Chargers, non-Keenan Allen receiver?
I would rather have Christian Watson.
Yeah, that's another one where I'm getting nervous, but yeah.
Yeah, I forgot they play on Thursday, so he might miss another game. But that shouldn't influence your decision. Week 4.
He came into the league with some injury concerns, right?
I don't remember.
I'll look that up.
You're usually right about that. Would you prioritize Palmer or Johnston on waivers?
For me, it was Palmer.
Yeah, for me, it's Palmer if you need a starter, Johnston if you need a bench stash.
I have Devontae Smith and Puka going up against Atwell, Higgins, Rashad White, and Jake Elliott, but also 15 points. Ooh, which side am I going to pick here? I think you're going to lose. But no, I think you're going to win.
I think you're good.
I've got one. Can you tell me my chances of winning tonight?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I've got Miles Murphy and Logan Wilson and Antoine Winfield and Levante David.
I know where this is going.
I'm going against Joe Mixon, Devontae Smith.
I'm muting Heath. Heath already has me beat. He has Raheem Mostert. There's no way I can beat Heath. It's over.
I'm ahead by 57.5. What do you think my chances are?
Yes, that's about.
I faced the Keenan Allen Raheem Mostert combo with a Devin Achane on the bench. Thank God. It was a rough week.
Achane, apparently. I was told today it's now Achane.
He said it.
Yes. Achane. Adam and Heath at the same time. Tell me where I could find a red shirt. My closet.
Arrowhead.
Tutu or Rashad White. That's easy. Tutu.
Rashad White.
Yeah.
Rosie Brosman's been coming up with all these Adam is the type of guys today. I do not say boy, oh boy, when someone surprises me. You've been right on some of them.
Did you just say that's easy Tutu, and then we both said Rashad White, and we just moved on to the next question?
You guys said Rashad White? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. My mind went to Puka Nacua.
Tutu Nacua.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I wasn't even listening to the response because I was like, it's so easy. Okay, Rashad White over Tutu Atwell?
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to go with Tutu Atwell. Rashad White is going to have a horrible game tonight. And we're going to say, why would we ever start any running back against the Philadelphia Eagles? We should be asking that question right now. But if you want one more week of proof, you're about to get it. They're going to smother Rashad White. But go with what they say. 2-1. 2-1. 2-2. And Michael, you can stop asking the question. It's like 10 times I see it there. Devontae Smith or Puka Nacua? I need 16.5 in full PPR.
Puka.
Yeah, Puka.
Are we overreacting to Achane just a bit? He came in against a deflated Broncos defense. He had 200+ yards and 4 touchdowns.
I think Sam makes a good point that, and I understand the excitement of yesterday, and it was super awesome, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I live in South Florida, and I'm happy for all my Dolphins fans' friends. But those points are all counted now. We don't get to take any with us. And so I do think that maybe you should just act like he had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, I think you're probably overreacting if you're saying, he's a top 10 running back rest of season. But to say he's a must-add guy and needs to be 100% rostered is not an overreaction at all.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I also agree that if Raheem Mostert, I'm sure we agree if Raheem Mostert gets hurt, he is a top 10 running back. Maybe.
Well, top 15.
I don't know. This whole Jeff Wilson thing is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I know. What is this? Tampa is considered South Florida, not Miami. What?
Isn't that where USF is?
Yes, and that was when it was invented. When USF was founded, that was as far south as Florida went. It is not. I can assure you, USF is not in South Florida, despite the name. And Tampa is not South Florida. Kamara or Jacobs in week 4. Pull up the old sketchy.
Jacobs.
I would do Jacobs. Yeah.
I'm gonna be a wait and see guy on Alvin Kamara, and I expect it to just be 1 week, but I'm not ranking him like a starter in his first game.
He's a much tougher matchup. He faces Tampa Bay, and Jacobs gets the Chargers. Their run defense is held up pretty nicely. I mean, they're not a sieve like they were last year. The Chargers. They're still giving up points, though.
I mean,
but they're not getting like run all over. Last year they were
right. Did Alexander Madison have more yards against the Chargers than in his first 2 games combined?
What do you have? A ton of carries, right? I mean, they're not this bad. They're not good, but they're doing better. Let's see.
And Jacob showed some life last night.
He did.
Yeah, I think he had like an 8-yard run.
He had a 10-yard run.
Ooh. Yeah.
He had 11 PPR fantasy points. Moving in the right direction.
Do you guys rank Bijan? Yeah.
We do. Every week.
I have ETN and Jonathan Taylor. I'm thinking of he's probably meant where do you guys rank Bijan? Where I'm thinking about trading Bijan.
I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, with running backs that good, you can just flex one. Unless you have a wide receiver issue, I would just keep them.
Yeah, don't trade Bijan. Should you trade Taylor though?
I had this moment last night. It's hard to go to bed after Sunday night football and like 12 hours of football and all this stuff. And I came to the realization, because I've been pretty excited and pretty invested in Zach Moss, and I thought he looked good yesterday. And then I realized the Dolphins were the main bidder for Jonathan Taylor. That's probably not going to happen now.
Right.
After what happened yesterday. I think the Vikings were one of the other teams interested. They just traded for Cam Akers. I don't know if anybody even wants to trade for Jonathan Taylor anymore.
Dude, fantasy managers. I have no idea how to value him. Do you think he's just going to come back and be Jonathan Taylor?
I do. And he's a buy for me. That's why it's not a sell right now, just because I think if you're selling right now, you're not getting the peak value that you can. I think there's still some teams out there that could be in the market for a Jonathan Taylor. So he's someone that I'm willing to buy right now. But if you've got him, just hold. You don't need to short sell him.
Yeah,
What did that say? Bring that up again.
You are the type of person who profusely apologizes and waves when accidentally cutting someone off, even though you know they can't hear you. I can 100% see that. I am more. That's the thing is, I think I would be more confident in him coming back and being Jonathan Taylor on a different team. I've received no indication that relationship has improved. And I think that Jonathan Taylor's played this thing about as well as any running back holdout ever has. He's held out through all of training camp and the first 4 weeks of the season and not missed a check. And so I'm just not as confident that if the Colts keep him, everything will just be fine.
Would you drop Michael Thomas for Tank Dell? I would. I'll answer first then. I think I would. I think Thomas feels like he's just going to be kind of fine.
Yeah, it feels like the Saints are approaching him a different way, which is maybe good for the longevity of his season as a whole. But yeah, it's safe floor, maybe not a super high ceiling there. So.
I think it's the same conversation as Josh Palmer versus Quentin Johnston. If I needed if I'm starting Michael Thomas, I'm probably not making that move. But I do. I'm pretty enamored, and I don't know how high you think is too high to be on Tank Dell, Adam. But the way that he's functioning in that offense, almost a full-time player, dominating targets in that 5 to 15 yard range, and then also showing this week that he can beat guys deep and succeed that way. Guys that can succeed all over the field and run routes like he does. Yeah, it's I think he's got a lot more upside than Nico Collins.
I don't really know what to make of the Texans passing game. I mean, it's just it's a shock to me. It's an absolute shock how prolific they've been.
Well, that's the other part of this equation, like that C.J. Stroud, Trevor Lawrence question from earlier.
Hmm.
I feel like people should be a lot more excited about C.J. Stroud right now. This dude was a spectacular passer in college, a top 2 pick, and then just comes into the NFL and looks like he belongs immediately.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would do this. I think Dell has a lot of upside. Now he did beat someone deep. He's right. He did beat someone deep. Like first possession of the game was a really nice throw and catch, but he also had a 63-yard touchdown or something on a busted play where he was just wide open. That mattered to anyone out there. But even if you took that away, you still would have had a really nice game. Would you pick up Palmer or Tank Dell or Dobbs or Thielen?
Think.
Yeah, I think it would be Tank Dell.
Although I think I do have Adam Thielen ranked as a top 20 wide receiver next week.
You mean in the Andy Dalton revenge game?
In the Adam Thielen revenge game, co-starring Andy Dalton.
Swift and Najee for Josh Jacobs.
It feels expensive, but yeah, I could. That's expensive. That's.
I mean, like,
I would do. Najee Harris is like it's
45 minutes from now, that might be 2 flexes for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, exactly. I would do that right
Yeah.
now. Absolutely. CJ Stroud or Richardson, QB2.
Healthy Richardson. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish he wasn't still in the protocol. I don't like that.
Taylor Swift or DeAndre Swift? How you feeling about this Taylor Swift thing, Heath?
Well, like, it's obviously Taylor Swift over DeAndre Swift. It's fun. Like, the problem is 95% of my Facebook lives within 45 minutes of Kansas City. And so I open Facebook and it's just nothing but pictures of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's mom, which is fun, still fun. Stories about some restaurant they rented out last night. I just hope that she doesn't break up with him before the Super Bowl. Like, let's get through the offseason and then give him the 6 months to get over you.
Yeah, and it's a risk.
Yeah. My initial thought was worry that it was going to be his Tony Romo, Jessica Simpson moment, just hoping that was not the case there.
Let's see. Mostert for Derrick Henry, PPR.
I would prefer the Derrick Henry side. I know it's not ideal right now, but long term, I think that's the direction I would.
I'm going Henry too.
I am too, but
Puka and Johnston for Diggs.
Get Diggs.
Yeah.
Let's see. Should I bench Stevenson against the Cowboys?
No, I don't think I mean, it depends on who you would start over him, but
I think I had him 23rd last week, and he'll probably be very close to that again this week. He's a borderline number 2 running back. I hope I have 2 better options, but
half PPR, I'm down 3.3 points with Mixon versus his Chase and Higbee. Do I have a chance? You have a chance.
it could be even. It all depends on Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Let's see. Baker or Burrow?
Burrow.
Can I ask a Justin Fields question?
Yeah, well, here I have. What do you think? Would you trade Pollard for Lamar Jackson and Devon Achane if you have Justin Fields?
I would not. I'm starting Fields one more week.
With Denver?
Well, yeah, especially this week coming up.
They play the Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's wait one more week and see. You might catch a 25 or 30 point outburst and then be able to make a better deal than that.
Yeah.
This one is pretty true. Not gonna lie. I want that thing to be fully charged at all times. Would you rather have Ayuk or Pittman rest of season?
People will disagree, but it's Pittman for me.
Agreed.
People are usually so anti-Pittman. They think just like so much negativity around thinking that he's just a guy.
I would go Ayuk though, but
Ayuk wins he definitely wins in the advanced stats leagues. Like if you get points for fantasy points per route run against man coverage, Ayuk destroys.
when you say things like that, you act like it is completely outrageous for someone to choose Ayuk over Pittman.
No, I'm saying that exactly what I said.
I'm not the advanced stats.
I'm saying I think like Ayuk might legitimately be a better player than Michael Pittman.
Yeah,
but Pittman's a better fantasy option the rest of the season.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is if Richardson's the quarterback. And
no, that's the positive though.
I think Minshew's better for Pittman than Richardson is, which I said last night because I think Minshew will put up bigger passing numbers than Richardson. He probably spread the ball around.
I don't know. I was so like hopefully we get to see him again this week. I was so impressed with how Richardson looked week 1 compared to what I thought. I don't want to put any limits on him as a passer in the second half of the season.
He's got to throw the ball more than 20 yards downfield. He didn't do that once. But no, I was too. But I just think he's a running quarterback.
I'm not sure Minshew threw it more than 20 yards downfield yesterday.
Would you drop Khalil Herbert?
It was adequate.
Would you drop Khalil Herbert for Kenneth Gainwell?
I would not right now.
You know what? I hate these things that they're allowed to do it, but if you're allowed to do it, I don't think Khalil Herbert's going to have his starting job much longer. Gainwell might get 18 touches tonight. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Roll the dice.
I have Stafford and Burrow. Who do you start?
Burrow,
yeah.
I need 2. Down 35. Puka, Godwin, Higgins.
Oh, that's
Puka and Godwin.
Puka and Higgins for me.
I do think specifically down 35. I do think that Puka and Godwin might be the better route to get you there.
Okay.
More dependable.
I don't know what Thomas the Train. Oh, I get it. Achane.
It's Achane though.
Yeah, it's Achane. So I can't do it anymore. Thielen or Palmer or Quentin Johnson, I'm guessing.
Palmer.
Yeah, if I need a starter this week, I'd rather start Thielen, and if I need a bench staff, I'd rather have Johnston.
Heath, is that key lime seltzer?
I am sad to report that I went to the fridge before the show. We were out of seltzers, so I am drinking a ginger ale.
Is that sad? That's a bad thing?
I'd rather have a seltzer.
Okay. Michael Thomas, you should just try water. It's really good. Michael
I have lots of water.
Or Marquise Brown or Josh Palmer rest of season.
Thomas.
Okay, I'm back. I think I had a little internet glitch right there. Rest of season, Marquise Brown.
Yeah, I'm going to change my answer. Marquise Brown. Kyler's going to be back soon.
Pollard for Barkley and Jonathan Taylor. Would you make that trade?
Yeah.
Pretty
tempting.
Yeah,
you're 2-0. Yeah, we'll do that.
Let's see. Sorry. Looking for a question here other than things like Adam is the kind of guy to do this and that.
I saw something about Taylor Kelsey sounding weird. There's absolutely no chance she's changing her last name, guys.
Did you start Richardson in week 4 or Deshaun Watson? Richardson. Watson against the Ravens and Richardson against these Rams.
Richardson, as long as he's healthy, yeah.
What did you think of Watson, Heath? Are you optimistic?
I wouldn't go as far as optimistic. I think I'm less pessimistic. He's still not handling the pocket very well. He's got like a 10% sack rate and made one of the dumbest plays. He's just lucky Elijah Moore picked it up and ran a little bit with it, so it didn't end up on like a major highlight thing. But I don't know what that pass was that he threw 9 yards backwards. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I did. It was so embarrassing.
So I don't want to say optimistic, but I think that he might be closer to league average than I was giving him credit for.
Yeah. I mean, this was the can you succeed against ideal matchup? Yes, you can. Okay, good. You can be average.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. He's to do it against someone that's not Tennessee. Would you trade Justin Herbert and Calvin Ridley for Anthony Richardson and Ken Walker?
I would not.
Oh, if you had Jonathan Taylor and DeAndre Swift and Travis Kelce on your team, you could name your team Taylor Swift Kelsey.
Someone has a team name. They emailed me. They thought it was so good. It was kind of funny, but it's Taylor Hurts. Taylor
Hurts
Swift,
Kelce.
Taylor Swift Hurts Kelce.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
Clever, you know.
I would rather have. Ooh.
I'm gonna cop out and say the 4.6 point.
I like it. I like it. Let's do that.
Yeah. I'd probably keep the Herbert side, but I could see going the 4.6 point range. Should I hold on to Mostert or try to trade him? I have Wilson, Henry, and ETN.
I would hold on to Mostert.
I don't get the opinion that there are lots of great offers coming for Raheem Mostert. Like, are you getting a round 6 player now? He was a round 10 pick. Or are you getting a round 3 player? Like, I think I would sell at round 4 or higher.
Well, you could. I think in let's say 30% of leagues, you can get Josh Jacobs for him straight up.
Then I would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I have no evidence of that. I just get that sense based on comments I've seen. Last question here: Puka or Jamar Chase? I need 20 points.
I mean, I would do Puka. I would.
I think I'm going to go Chase.
All right, and then the last question here for real: sit one in half PPR. Chase, Kyron Williams, or sit Gainwell.
Sit Gainwell.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we agree. Thanks, everybody. Great stuff. Good show, Tara and Heath. Thanks for dropping by. Tara, wear red next time. And good luck to you, everybody. Go get yourself a win. Let's finish the week strong, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning with the Waiver Wire on Fantasy Football Today.